Your kit's going to include an Allegro oversized carriage pad, 8 screws, and an 1/8" Allen wrench. Hi, welcome to BB Garage. My name is Joe, and today we're going to install an oversized carriage pad on an Allegro reformer. Now, if you purchase an Allegro reformer and an oversized carriage pad at the same time, your reformer is not going to come with a pad on it, and you'll have to install the pad because it's going to be shipped separately. And this was due to packaging sizes. Also, as a note, if you have a reformer serial number 11514 or before, the actual carriage will need to be removed from the frame before you can access the bolts to put the new carriage pad on. So to start putting this pad on, what we're going to do is I like to lift up the riser end of the frame so I have access underneath. Now, if you have legs, you should be able to access this by just sliding underneath. So what I do is, and then this, you may want to do this with help. I lift up the frame and I'll slide a same box underneath. Now I'm using a sitting box light. If you have a vinyl covered sitting box, I recommend that you put a towel or a sheet over it to protect the vinyl. So your oversized carriage pad looks like this. It comes with 8 screws and an Allen wrench. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by, since we're replacing the carriage pad on this one, we're going to go underneath with the Allen wrench and we're going to remove all 8 bolts. So now I'm going to show you where the bolts are located that need to be removed. I've stood the reformer on end only for video purposes. We do not recommend you do this at home to remove the pad. So there's 8 bolts total, 1, 2, 3, and then one hidden by this loop, 4, another one behind loop, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So the best thing to do is remove the 2 outer springs and set them to the side. This will make it easier to access the screws down here. I'm going to remove all 8 screws. I'm going to separate the pad from the carriage base. And sometimes the carriage pad, if you have an older reformer, it could get stuck because of body weight and everything sealing it up. You just have to peel it off. It'll pop right off. So you start off by taking out these screws. I'm going to loosen the top 2 since this is standing on end. As I said, this is only for video purposes, not recommended for you to do at home. So let me get here. And if you're just installing the pad since you bought a brand new reformer, you can skip ahead in the video to see how to line it up and put the screws in. Now I'm going to set the reformer down because it's unsafe for me to remove these screws. The carriage pad will want to fall off. And so I'm going to remove the last 2 screws. There's one. And here's the last one. And now I can take the carriage pad out, set it off to the side. Now, to install the new carriage pad, so like this and slide up. Now what you want to do is make sure you have an even amount on both sides. While I'm doing this, I'll grab my bolts. And what I like to do, I found it's a little easier, is to take a bolt and poke it up through a hole up here at the end and take a look. As you slide the carriage back and forth, I found the hole, and I can just tighten the first one in. So that one's started, and then I can start the other one on the other side. And all I do is push it through the hole, and you'll know right away it won't go in And then if I position the carriage pad right, the screw pushes in and can be tightened down. So I'm going to go ahead and install all 8 screws and tighten them down. So for video purposes, I have stood the reformer on end. This is only for video purposes and should not be done at home. So I can show you all 8 screws that need to be tightened down. So I'm just snugging them down. As you notice, I'm holding on to the reformer because this is not the safest thing to do. You definitely don't want to do this at home. And the last 2 screws will be here. You want to make sure not to push in as you're tightening the screw because you can knock the insert loose that's inside the carriage pad. And here's the last screw. I'm going to tighten it down snug and go back and tighten all the rest up. And now I'm going to install the last the springs that we took off previously. You want to make sure, take the hook, go up, flex your spring, go back down. Hook goes through. And that's how you install the oversized carriage pad on an Allegro reformer. Thank you for choosing Balanced Body, and if you have any questions, please dial 1-800-PILATES or 1-800-745-2837 and ask to speak to somebody in our customer service department. Thanks again.